I want to thank Catherine Trammell and Suncoast for hosting me tonight and hosting all of us. They do great work here, and I want to introduce and have Catherine come up. I don't think I can do justice in describing all the work that they're doing here, so Catherine, please.
So I know most of you, actually all of you, so welcome. Just for anyone that's not 100% familiar who we are, Suncoast Developers Guild is a full-time immersive program for adults. We teach web development for full stack. So we do everything from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then go into React. And then on the back end, students choose from Ruby or .NET. So it's a 12-week program. We also have our part-time programs that are rolling out. Actually, Chrissy, we have a UI UX one that's coming up at the end of March.
With Sarah, right?
Yep, with Sarah.
I was talking to her about it.
Yep, so we have that. We have a digital marketing one. We're also doing a test drive for anyone that's looking to figure out if they're interested in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And by chance, if they like it and they enjoy it, that can actually roll into our full-time program. And we actually have one starting tomorrow, which is React 1, which is kind of an intro to React for anyone that's had a little bit of experience but needs that extra step past regular JavaScript. So we have those, but we're also a community location, so we host events pretty much almost every single night of the week. Tuesdays and Thursdays we have regular meetups that run monthly, and then Wednesdays we usually have a bi-monthly meetup or free crash courses. So I'm glad to have you all out. We do have snacks and drinks, so please help yourself, and otherwise have a good evening.
Thanks, Catherine. All right, so let's dig into our agenda here tonight. So first of all, a couple things. We're going to define what the video resume is. You know, the importance of and advantages of a job search, how to do it, how to use it to market yourself, and last but not least, actually we'll see if I can get any of you brave folks to come up, and we'll do a mini one. I promise it doesn't have to go anywhere, but I think it'd be good practice. And then last, we have our raffle, which there's 2 prizes, and the grand prize is you get a complimentary video resume consultation with yours truly. I can walk you through that. So we'll do that at the end. So I heard a lot of good comments. I wanted to dive in, but I was like, okay, I gotta wait. So Charles, thank you. You gave some great ideas here. So first of all, what is the video resume? Does anybody know what it is? I mean, I know it's you go on tape and you talk about your background, but beyond that, do you guys any thoughts? Okay. So I like to call it the resume, video resume, because it's an interview. So who here has tried applying for a job, sent out hundreds of resumes, not hearing anything back? All right, good. I'm not alone. Thanks. So with that, the problem is you see a job and you send a paper resume, and people try to follow the format of a paper resume, and so an employer is seeing that, and you take the name out of it, and if there's 50 applicants applying for a C# developer job, how are they going to really know who stands out? It's kind of tough, and a lot gets lost in the shuffle. So who here has thought, boy, if I could only just get in front of the hiring manager and interview, I know I could get that job? Yeah. Well, folks, here's your opportunity with the video resume. And I'll kind of explain what it's an opportunity for someone to get up and tell their story. And it doesn't have to be like anything. There's not a certain format on how it has to be. If Charles wants to ride his bike, reading the video resume and off a narrow cliff and not going off it, that's great. That will get somebody's attention. That's the goal of it, is to get the attention of a hiring manager. Now, there's some etiquette that you want to have with it. Yes, you want to do something kind of quirky that tells your personality, definitely, but you also have to keep it on the lines of very professional. You know, one thing that, and it really depends on the type of job that you're going for. So as far as dress etiquette, if you're going for something in the professional, I would dress how you would dress going on an interview. I would also try to get into some sort of a private room or office that's quiet, that looks like a professional setting. And then some of the other etiquette that we would address on that is, what do you want to cover? So first of all, time-wise. So you have to think about, okay, put yourself in the shoes of a hiring manager. They're busy all day long with their regular cadence of work. So, but they have this need to fill. And the last thing they want to do is be going through resume after resume, which the video resume is nice because it gives them, they don't have to read anything. They can just click a video and look. But you also want to keep it from a time standpoint of 3 minutes or less, maybe 4 minutes or less, but not in that number. And the reason is for a couple things. Why do we want to keep it only 3 minutes for a video resume?
I assume because everything you need to say should be in that time frame and you're not rambling. And also, after a certain point, someone's going to lose interest in what you're rambling on about if you're small.
Absolutely. Good answer. The main reason, though, is it's all about attention span. It's about keeping things interesting, getting to the point, and giving that hiring manager an opportunity to get to know you in 3 minutes. Just give enough of a snapshot that, hey, I want to get to know this person relatively more advanced than what I'm seeing here. This person has an interesting story. Now, how many people think that 3 minutes is way too short? I can never get everything in that I want to get.
You haven't been working for that long.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has nothing to do with that. And it's not all about your work experience that people want to see. What it is, think of it, it's your story. So here are some things that you would want to cover into it. Probably your first 30 to 60 seconds, which they call your elevator pitch, would be who you are, something maybe quirky about yourself, from a personal standpoint, a hobby, just something so they get to know the person right away. Then the second thing you would want to hit in that elevator pitch is why you're getting in, why you got into the industry that you chose, and particularly the job. And you want to bring it to something that you're passionate about. You don't want to say something like, I heard software developers make $500,000 a year, so that's why I'm getting into it. No, you want to present a story of why you're going that. What you want to do is you want to create a story in the mind of, hey, I like this person. Because one of the keys to getting hired, there's two keys. One is the ability to do the job, but the second is chemistry. People want to hire people that they're going to like to work with, that they feel that they can get into battle with and help grow the department and help do things. If someone can do the job great, but the personality doesn't fit, then you're not going to get hired. And a lot of times I can tell you, managers will hire someone that they like and have to train a little bit over somebody that they know will step and do the job, but then they're afraid they're going to be a prima donna and upset the chemistry of the whole team. So that's something that a video resume. So you want to be professional, but you want to be upbeat. You want to share those personal stories. So I'd say that's in your first 30 or 60 seconds. Then the next piece of it that you want to cover is your experience. And I know some of you said I have limited experience. Everybody has had experiences, whether it's educational, internship, professional. What you did, whether it's a school job, an internship, a professional job. And you want to talk about what you did to add value. Not just talking about what the tasks were of the job, but what you did to add value when you were in that job. And then why you chose that job. And then also, what are some intriguing things, maybe talk about a project that you had your hands on that you helped see successful. Then the next piece of the video resume is talking about the job or the industry that you're looking to get into, and you want to talk about that. So if you're a software developer and you want to get into .NET development, you want to talk about why you want to get into that. What you can do to add value to that. And then the fourth piece is...
Well, would you go into a little deeper about what you can do to add value to it?
Sure.
Give some examples for this.
So if you're on a job, in one of your jobs, and you want to talk about what you did, what accomplishments you had. So Charles, give me an example of one of your jobs.
About one of my, about a career job, corporate job, freelance job.
Anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I contributed the content to a startup development in the ranking industry that ranked software and IT companies.
And what was the end result of that?
They didn't use my stuff. Oh, it had to be a successful job.
No. But actually, if you just left it at that's something that's showing that you did that, you add value, instead of just talking about, well, I wrote this document for this thing. You actually talked about, you gave a story. So I think if I can, give you guys a best example of what's going to help. Think about a story that's going to visualize in people's mind of who you are professionally and even a little bit personally. People love stories. What you don't want to do is just go onto a video and just regurgitate a resume of what you did. You want to share a story of why you want this job, why you want to work in this industry. Now, you might not be able to say why you want to work for a company because it's your video resume, but you could definitely say why you want to work for an industry. Talk about what your passions are. And that's what hiring managers are hiring for. And that's the great thing about video resumes. Now, I want to cover some things in our introductions that were hit. A couple people have talked about, well, I'm a little nervous, I'm not photogenic, I don't talk that well. So first of all, technology's made it really probably the easiest it's ever been to do a video resume. Anybody that has a phone, these phones and the camera capabilities and the video capabilities are amazing in what you can do. Second thing is they have an on and off button. So if you don't like what you see, you just turn it off, you erase it, and you go back again. Nobody has to see it until you have a version that you're comfortable with. So if it takes you 10 times to video it, that take 10 times to video it. Also, there's professionals out there that do videography if you want to go that step. So now that we've talked about kind of what it is, let's talk a little bit about what it can do and from a hiring manager's perspective. So I don't know if there's anybody that's ever hired before, but if you saw a resume, you saw hundreds of resumes, and then all of a sudden you saw a video resume, what's the first thing I think I saw your hand.
Yes, I have.
Tell me what you would think. Have you ever been in a hiring?
Have I?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Well, oh, yeah.
So talk to me, you've got an opening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a critical opening. You're seeing hundreds of resumes. Your eyeballs are just about to go out of their socket. What happens when you get an email from somebody and it's got a little introduction and then a video saying, please check me out to see how I can add value to you?
Well, If I were expecting, and you know, like if I were expecting video resumes or something like that, I think I would be more prone to open it. I don't know how keen I would be on unsolicited.
And we're gonna talk about that. I'm glad
You
you
know,
brought, thank you. I'm glad
I
you
mean,
brought
at
that
that
up.
time anyway, just because, especially if you're saying I'm inundated with, you know, hundreds or thousands or whatever paper emails, but I certainly would have appreciated having video resumes rather than paper resumes.
Absolutely.
I really would have. And I think that would have eliminated so many options right off the bat, you know? I
Absolutely.
think it's 50-50.
If you have a video resume, are you opening yourselves up to, say, bias and prejudice?
You could be.
You know,
Yeah,
you could be.
It seems like it would be, hiring managers, like everybody else, are inclined to hire people just like that, you know?
Could be,
So
well,
would that limit the diversity of the people they hire?
It could almost be both though, right? Like you could almost be setting yourself up for a more diverse workforce intentionally too, because you'd be like, oh, you know, you're picking all sorts of people.
so, absolutely.
And you.
Only if you intend to diversity.
Right, yeah, it's-
but
yeah,
that's
it's-
not natural.
Sure, yes.
That's-
So here's the thing, so you guys are bringing up some great points. So with this though, there's risk. There's absolutely risk. But I'm one of those people that think, go big or go home.
Right.
And the thing about it is somebody may see your video resume and something you say is just gonna hit them where, you know what? I don't know why, I probably shouldn't, but just something is gravitating me towards this person. It could be the twinkle in their eye, it could be the smile on their face while they're saying, it may not even be what they're saying, but the way they're saying it, and the manager's gonna say, I gotta call this person, I gotta see more. So yes, there is risk. But we'll talk about some, and Chantel?
Yes.
Chantel, you brought up a great point. If I'm not expecting it, I'm thinking it's gonna be spam. So there's a strategy behind that we'll get into in a few minutes.
And at the same time, you might think, wow, this person's really brave to do something, you know, rather differently.
Yep. So I'm going to talk about some advantages of doing it. So the last thing that I wanted to make sure that I covered that should be in your video resume, and we're talking about that risk or reward, is going the extra mile. And that would be, what would you would cover if in the last part of your video resume presentation is, if I were to be hired, here's what I would do in my first 30 days or my first 60 days to get acclimated so that I'm adding immediate impact and value. And you list out whatever you think it is that you would do in order to get you up and running and productive. Hiring manager sees that, and that's something that a lot of people are not doing. A hiring manager sees that, they see somebody that has potential rock star status because they're thinking about the big picture. They're thinking about the organization and adding value. They're not just thinking, this isn't a person that's just thinking about, hey, I want a job to earn money, you know, I want a job. I want to come in and add value to an organization. So that would be the fourth piece that I would put into your video resume. Now let's talk about some of the advantages, and that's why I asked, let's say what a hiring manager sees from it. So first of all, and Chantel, she gave me a great example, is bravery. They see somebody, when they see someone doing a video resume, they see someone that's brave. And what that tells them is, that's going to be an employee that's willing to take risks, willing to do things out of their comfort zone to get better, to grow, which is a big attribute to a hiring manager. Trust me, I've had a lot of hiring managers that have said, boy, I wish I have this great employee, but they'll only do what I give them to do. They'll never come and just do something game-changing. And at least try, even if it fails, but at least thinking about it. Because I could deal with somebody that tries to do something game-changing and it fails, because that means they're gonna be willing to try to do some additional stuff, game-changing, and that idea really maybe, that's quote-unquote with hiring managers. Other thing they see is creativity. It's like, we're just on the cusp of video resumes. A lot of people still are not doing it. It shows creativity, and it allows for an amazing amount of creativity. With a paper resume, sure, you might be able to write something creatively in that, but in the end of the day, there's only so much you can do with it. With video resumes, you can show that creative. You know, Charles, if you want to ride your bike, now I don't recommend, depending what type of job, but that's something that will show, oh wow, here's a guy that's creative. It also shows them that you're willing to go above and beyond, that your career matters to you. This isn't somebody that's just out here just to get a job to earn a paycheck. They cared enough to dress up, take the time, do a video resume, send it. That's somebody that is really advancing, they want to make that investment to advance their career. So if they're doing that investment to advance their career, that means they're probably going to invest in their time and work ethic to be a great employee for me. You know, I could go on and on. You know, we talked about the risks. Now, the risk certainly is they don't like how you look, or they don't like how you sound. You know, they hit delete. You know, with a paper resume, they send it in. They see what they like in the experience. They're going to at least give you a call. The video resume, they don't like how you look. You know, they could. But then again, you think about that. If there's a employer that doesn't want to hire me because of the way I look, do you really want to work for that employer? So it goes both ways. Let's see, what else did I want to cover? So I'm going to pause here. Any questions before we go further? Chrissy?
Yes.
Hi.
Hey, what about the idea of, like, depending on your skills, like creating an animation and just doing like the voiceover for it if you were uncomfortable with presenting yourself?
So how would that look?
I don't know, just like having a
Almost like a
drawing.
podcast?
Well, no, like having a drawing and then like making a little stick figure or something, and they're like doing something. You have a script, but instead of recording yourself,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
recording over.
Or like a
Animation.
skin, like an avatar.
Yeah, or that's yeah, or an
Or both.
avatar.
Is that a little different than what you were saying?
No, that's the same. Like anything that would
That's
be,
not quite you,
yeah,
but
that your
it's the video.
voice is on, but not your
Do you
personal.
have any special skills in this?
I don't yet.
So
Or you
I
can
was
just-
thinking it might be perfect for certain types of jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just
Right.
going to say that. I mean, if you're getting into the area of marketing, advertising, any type of creative, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or you could just use like a filter, which is kind of like
That's
video.
avatar. Yeah, filter.
I mean, like a color filter.
No, like you know a Snapchat filter, how it just makes you look a little bit more refreshed.
Just like
Uh,
hybrid, yeah.
You like add some
example,
color to your face.
If you did a sock puppet, that might not be.
Good, right?
So it's like if you don't feel like comfortable in front of the camera, or you feel like you don't feel photogenic in front of the camera, it will kind of like ease that a little
Do they
bit.
have filters that are like animated?
No, well, there are filters like to like blur the camera a little bit for like Mac cameras.
This is awesome. I'm glad I got you guys excited about it. Well, most people coming in, video resume, no way. I'm not. This is what I want. I want to drive where people are thinking creative about it, because here's the thing. Again, it goes to the story, and if you can create a story in people's minds, that's a big advantage, because a paper resume doesn't create stories. It really doesn't. In fact, a lot of times they're just going after buzzwords. And if you don't have the right buzzwords, your resume may not even be seen, even though you've got the best, you've got the best experience, but you didn't use the buzzwords. Here's the other thing that a video resume will do, is you may not be the most qualified, but somebody will see, wait, this person has the ability to learn. Okay, they're not my perfect avatar, but if I get my perfect avatar, you know what? They could be swayed around. I can train them for 6 months to a year, and then after a year, they can leave me. Where if I get somebody that I can train that needs a little bit more training, they have plenty of room to grow in the job. That I think it's an investment. A paper resume won't tell, because if you don't have the right skill set or requirements on a paper resume, it's getting tossed. The other thing that a video resume could do is a manager may see it and say, you know what, this person doesn't fit, but Joan, my buddy in the marketing department, I think they should see this. Especially what Chrissy mentioned about the stick figure idea. It's like, you know what, I don't have use for you in my department, but I'm going to get you over to my marketing department, and then they take a look, and then they fall in love with it. Paper resume, that's not happening. That connection's not going to happen. So, how am I doing? Oh, go ahead. Question.
One of the caveats, the risk of this is, from my experience, sophisticated video editing and production is difficult and complex and a high-level skill, whereas paper resume, formatting, Microsoft Word, desktop publishing are very common and well-known and easy to learn. So it's miles easier to create a very professional quality paper resume than it is to create a professional quality video resume.
Yes, that's true, but here's the thing. Do you really need a high quality professional resume? You're talking about telling your story in 3 minutes. And you're leading me into the next part of our subject.
Well, we are accustomed to high quality video production. You know, typically it's what we see on TV and in the movies, high quality production, and even YouTube has some very, very good production values.
Yeah.
In most of those.
But here's the thing, the phones that they're making these days, they're better than a camera.
Yeah.
So the quality's there. There's resources to go that can help make it how you want to make it. But again, what you're trying to capture is a story. And again, we're getting into the risks. So we're going to get into the second part, which you guys are all thinking, all right, great, I make a video resume.
But just to touch on that real quick.
Sure.
There are several YouTube personas, whatever, that use their iPhone just record in sunlight.
Yeah, there's a wide variety of production values on YouTube.
No, I mean, like, they just use their
But
iPhone.
if you're just using the camera, the phone camera is much different from cranking out a video with a editing, video editing. Are you going to go into that? Or
Well, you can do video editing too, just with using your phone.
Yeah, like, you don't
there's
have to
software
have.
Yeah.
There's software that, you can just take a video.
I've used video editing software.
Yeah. I mean, on your
there's
phone.
simple
That's why I know it ain't that easy.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, on your phone, like, you can record it on the phone and have it look decent. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't need a full, like, production to
Do
get
you
the
need
video.
titles, credits?
No, you really don't. All right, so I'm going to rein you guys in. We're starting to get off. We're starting to get off subject here. All right, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this video resume, and I want it to be the best production and stuff, and that's great. But you want to ask yourself, what is your goal? Is your goal to put on a mini movie, or is your goal to get a job? So, sure, yeah, you don't want to put something really shoddy out there and stuff. And that's why I said if you dress how you're going on an interview, you sit and you in a nice quiet office and you video it and you talk for 3 minutes and you go through the format, you're going to get accomplished what you want to get accomplished. And if somebody's judging you that, you know what, you're not a good fit here, that's okay, because you know what, here's the thing, you as an employee or potential employee, you're interviewing the company just as much as they're interviewing you. So if someone likes to wear different color hair and they're being judged and they've got the best skills in the world, but the employer sees that even though they're dressed professionally, they have different color hair or a ring in their nose or whatever, and they don't want to hire them because of that, do you really want to work for that company? Absolutely not. So, all right, so I promised you, let's get a second of my 1-2 punch on this video resume strategy. So, who here is familiar with using LinkedIn? I'm sure everybody's heard of LinkedIn, but who here is familiar with using it?
Using what again?
LinkedIn.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay. What, lady in the back? Lexi. Okay, now, what's your experience with LinkedIn? How have you used it?
Well, I've been using it since I graduated here. Yeah, connecting with people, trying to find jobs and networking and.
Okay. So when you say connecting with people, define that for me. What does that mean for you?
Well, I've been meeting different people at different like networking events, different conferences and things, and I connect with someone there, and it's like Facebook but more professional, more
Absolutely.
work-based, so I feel smarter. It's more useful stuff.
Absolutely. So here's the strategy behind using LinkedIn along with your video resume. Is think about who, when you're applying for a job, think about who the hiring manager is. So one thing I want to take a step back. The video resume is not going to replace the actual application process of sending in a paper resume, applying online, and all that good stuff. That's not getting replaced. What this is to help you try to get in the back way to get an interview and to get the job, where at the end of the day, where at the end of the process, you're filling out an application, you're sending in a resume as just part of the hiring process. But the job, what you want to have happen by doing the video resume is you want to have the job sewn up, locked down before you even get into the application process. So for instance, what type of jobs, Lexi, have you been applying for?
Web development
Okay.
jobs.
So what is the title of a hiring manager that would be hiring you directly?
Senior developer. Head of development.
So a manager, okay. So what you might want to do is try to connect with the manager, pick 50 companies, send out an invite to the person saying, hey, I'd love to connect with you and network. I see you work at XYZ company. I've heard some great things, but I'd love to learn more and connect. And then once they accept your connection, that means that you can now email them directly. And when you email them directly, you can try to set up, hey, I thank you for accepting my invitation to connect. I would really love to learn more about what XYZ company is doing. My background is in web development. If it's okay, here's a link of a 3-minute video resume that I did that will give a snapshot of who I am and what I do. Could we connect? And then when you're sending that, like Chantel was mentioning, when you're now sending that link to that video, you're not sending it cold. You're sending it to a warm lead. So I'm not talking about just making a video resume and just sending it out there to anyone and having it spam. You would do a strategy with that. No, but to get your video resume shown, there's another strategy to that. And I think, is everybody pretty social media savvy on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn?
I don't do any of those, but I do have a question.
Yeah, please.
So is it best to do something like that, or just to have your video resume just posted on your LinkedIn account?
Beat me to the punch.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm glad you asked. That's what, hey, this class is for us to, this isn't me being up here lecturing. This is our time to really dive in and learn, so I'm glad you, no, I think exactly. You want to put that up onto your social media, onto your LinkedIn page, onto your Facebook page. So people are seeing it, and you might put like a description of, a little description of it. So I guess what I'm saying is getting a job is using a lot of different activities, not just to rely on one. So I'm here talking to all of you today about video resumes. It's one option in the tool belt to use. Not saying it's the best one, not saying it's, but it's just, it gives you another option. If you're tired of sending hundreds of resumes out, and I know we don't send them by mail anymore, now it's email, but if you're tired of just sending resumes and not hearing anything back, and feeling like you have, when you send out 50 resumes and you hear nothing back, how does it make someone feel? How does it make you feel?
Frustrated.
Frustrated? Yeah, absolutely. What else?
Rejected.
Rejected. How about lack of control? Like you have no control.
Do people actually do that?
Do what?
Send out mass resumes and hope to get a job?
Yeah.
That seems, I thought that was so 20th century.
No, people still do that.
And it's just as futile as it used to be, right?
Absolutely.
Then why do they do it?
Well, here's the thing. Well, companies are forcing that because in the end of the day, you still can't get hired unless you apply officially because there's EEOC and different laws against equal opportunity hiring. So companies have to have a standardized hiring process. So you still have to send a resume in, have an interview, all that good stuff. But what this is doing is going in the back door. But yeah, it's one tool. The other thing I was going to get to is not having control. Is at least with a video resume, you have some sort of control. People, you get to tell the story your way, the way you want to be seen. You get to post it out there where thousands upon thousands of people are seeing it. And when you make a connection using the trick that I just mentioned in LinkedIn and sending it to someone that you just connected, you have control. So I think I pretty much covered everything that I
Is that like a shareable link, like you recommend, and then sharing it, or just keeping it?
Yeah, sharing it, like maybe like posting it out onto a YouTube channel, and then you have that link, and then creating the link. And actually, LinkedIn is doing some things where you can post things out, like videos.
So and other people can take that link and share it with other people if they want.
Absolutely. So when you're posting that on your LinkedIn page, let's say you have 1,000 connections. Every one of those 1,000 connections are seeing that. And let's just say somebody makes a comment. Let's say you and I are connected. I have almost 3,000 connections. Let's say I see it and I say, wow, Chantel, I really love that story you told while you were at XYZ company. That means all 3,000 of my connections are seeing what I commented on that. And that means that's just going to open up opportunities for jobs to find you. That's the other thing that video resumes do. It gives the opportunity for jobs to find you instead of you finding jobs. Does that make sense?
That's great.
I'm going to get the lady in the back first. Chrissy?
Yes, so when you're applying for a job, you're supposed to spend hours catering your resume to the specific job according to their job description. Do you recommend doing that with a video resume as well, or do you recommend having like a generic version and then maybe a more specific version, or how would you? Well,
unless you're going to make a constant video resume for every job you're applying to, which I just don't think that's going to be feasible. What you want to do is you want to be specific to industry, or maybe not industry, but the type of job that you want. So you want to hone in on the type of job. So, or Now, if there's a possibility of 3 jobs that you're going for, then I would say make 1 video resume per job. But there's no way to do it by company, no.
Right, because it would take me like 4 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
To cater a resume to it, you know, like put it through the process and like get the keywords and everything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So you're still, like I mentioned, you're still gonna have to apply for the job, but the goal is to apply for the job once the job's been already offered to you.
Right.
Seriously.
No, I know. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been doing this for 20 years, and
That's gold.
I can tell you, both my personal experience and then people that I've recruited for my companies, the job was already landed. That's another thing. The job still may be out there posted, even though it's already been filled. So that's the other thing, is you could be sending in to 50 jobs that already may be filled. So, all right, well, that's all my spiel. So, I'll go ahead. You had a question.
I want to ask your experience with this.
Sure.
And from what I've heard is that recruiters do not read resumes. They put the resumes through some sort of algorithm filter that spits out the ones that match their criteria, and those are the ones that they...
Not everyone.
Not everyone? Is that very common?
I don't do that.
You read everyone who comes across your desk? You don't automatically computer screen them in any way first?
My computer screens these eyeballs. I have 20 years of, I know what I'm looking for. I can quickly go through a resume, and I look for different, I don't just look for buzzwords. I look for a lot of different things. It really depends.
Well, this is probably not the forum to
Yeah.
maybe tell you your experience.
Well, what was your question though?
A video resume would not be sent through a computer filter.
No, you can't. No, you can't send a video resume when applying for a job.
So this is, the video resume is not part of the application process. It's a
No,
marketing sort of strategy.
it's marketing, absolutely.
Okay.
No, because I don't know if some companies, I think there are some, actually, you know what? Some companies you may be able to send a link, but to be honest, every company, this is how applying for the job is gonna be in the next probably 5 to 10 years. We're not there, we're on the beginning stages of this. So in the end of the day, you still have to apply with a paper. You're not getting away from the paper resume, but the goal is to do the paper resume when you already have the job, when it's not frustrating. So, got a question, before we get into the raffle. Anybody brave enough that wants to we don't have to record it, I'll turn off my camera here. Anybody want to do a video where I'll walk you through it?
Well, what is your, are you going to give us some sort of format, prompts, script? Is it just ad lib or?
You'll see.
I love surprises.
Well, you want to do it?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Garrett.
Garrett. All right, Garrett, come on up. I will turn off my camera now.
Cool.
Okay, ending the video resume session, doing some private training. All right. So, tell me a little bit about what you're after. What are you trying to do here? What's your background?
So it's like I'm applying for the job? Or, okay.
No, I want to get to know you.
Yeah, well, I want to be, so I'm looking for a career shift, really didn't know there was, doing.
I'll take you through the format in a minute, but I want to
Cool.
get to know you first.
Yeah, well, I decided to take to friend development, or like a few years ago, and then got a job, did that, and then kind of went out of the industry. Anyway, got back here to kind of boost my skills and re-enter the workforce as a hopefully full stack developer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you 3 minutes, and I'll let you know when. So basically, why don't you tell me, you know, who you are, something really interesting about you personally, what your career passion is, you know, the last job you had and what you did and how you added value to it, what you are looking to do, and don't worry about stumbling and ums and all that. We're just, it's all practice. That's why I turned off my camera.
Cool.
talk a little bit about why you're passionate about the role that you're getting into. And then last but not least, give me some sort of pitch on if you were given this type of job, what you would, quick 5 steps, 4 steps, whatever you would do in the first 30 days to get yourself up to speed and add value. So I will,
I'm gonna probably have to ask, but yeah, that was a lot. First one was so really why I want to get into it.
first all you are, and then
Garrett Anderson is me.
and talk about what your background is real quick.
Yeah, so my background, 29, I have a few years experience in development and want to get, just still pretty junior. Came from, I studied humanities in college and really kind of dabbled in a lot of different interests. So now trying to pick a career that'll allow me to do things that I enjoy doing, my other hobbies, as well as something that'll continue to grow. And,
What was your last job?
so the last job, I mean, immediately, relatively recently, was I was working in a restaurant. I was bar backing, so that was like right after my previous development job. So when I talk about that one, but yeah, so I was just working in a restaurant as like an interlude period, and what I did there was just, my focus was always just trying to, provide the best service to people, like to the bartenders and to the customers, and really building rapport. And so my focus was just kind of that, and then really decided to do that just as a kind of need a break.
And what's your passion for wanting to do the developer role? Why are you passionate about that?
There's a lot of growth in the industry. There's also a lot of just a lot of really interesting moving pieces that are going on from a creation. So it allows for a lot of versatility in terms of logical, I guess you could say right brain versus creative, off the cuff left brain type of. It's a very nice balance. I find possibilities really are wide, and there's a lot of really cool, awesome things that can be done for the betterment of other people. So,
and then I'll give you, and then last but not least, talk about if I were to land a job as a developer in my next company, or my next company like that.
oh well, if I was gonna get.
Yeah, just what your game plan would be to get yourself up to speed.
Oh, well, I mean, that one's, that was always a tough one, but honestly just work closely with my project managers and senior developers to break down what, their major responsibilities are during the day and how to better facilitate that. And then learn, just the different tech stack and what what is being used actually in the development team, just learning that their own methodology, so to speak. And, digging into the handbook, so to speak.
Before,
All right.
before he leaves, because I know him, he also plays the violin, right? So how would that come in? Because you failed to mention it.
Yeah, I would bring that in personal. One of my personal passions and hobby is to play the violin.
Like really well, like.
Yeah, and the training that, yes, that's something that you want to put in. So, does anybody else want to do it? Because how fair would it be if I asked you to do it and I didn't do it myself? Would you like to see me do it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Good job, very good. All right. Good job. All right. So I'm gonna give a sample of it.
Great.
We're done.
Thank you. All right, here I go. You guys ready? Dear future employer, I'd like to introduce you to Steve Rosen. Here I am, Steve Rosen. My background is 20 years in talent acquisition in recruiting. Why I've done that and never gotten out of that is a couple reasons. I'm very passionate about, it's one of the few careers where you have a direct impact on someone's life. You know, you've got professions like doctors and lawyers and who have a direct impact. But with recruiting, you have a direct impact on someone's career. Now, someone's career is something that they own that's different, that they have just for themselves outside of their family life. And to have direct impact on helping someone get into a career that makes them happy, it just, and the thank you notes that I've gotten in the past of doing this, it's what drives me to, I don't want to do anything else. Something personal that you should know about me is I make really good dark chocolate, 75% or above. So if you're hiring me, you know, there could be some good perks in the game for you. I would say probably in my last role, what I was doing, I was in a sourcing role. I took a different turn, and outside full life cycle recruiting, I got into sourcing, which is half marketing, half recruiting. Basically, you're an internal headhunter for your company. And some of the things that I did to add value was drive marketing strategies, to create pipelines for very niche type of positions for my past employer in the area of technology consulting on CRM type of products. So not only did I build pipelines, but I did a lot of marketing to build interest into what the company was doing, thus having pipelines for the recruiters I support to come up to speed and have someone relatively quickly for their hiring managers, as opposed to starting from scratch and it taking 90 to 120 days. I probably cut half of the search time in half by having my role. If you were to hire me, here's my game plan for the first 30 days. One, I would interview all of the hiring managers just to find out what they're doing, what their departments are doing, how they add value, what's exciting, what their story is, and then finding out the places that they look for talent, not only that can do the job, but there are going to be a nice fit chemistry-wise. Once I got that down, I would create a little marketing video on the company, what they're doing, the type of people we're looking at, and I would get that into my social media so that I can immediately try to add value. So there you have it. My name is Steve Rosen, and I'm looking to be your next new employee. Thank you. Any thoughts, any questions? How I did that?
I enjoyed how you kind of sandwiched that, like you went in very professional and then you added something personal and you went back more to the professional. Does that make sense? Like more about this is like kind of the business. Yeah.
I told the story so people can get to know. That's why I threw in the dark chocolate.
Right.
I added a little bit of humor. Now I've been
Sure.
doing this for a long time, so this is like second nature. And I had a lot of ums, and I probably would have taken that over again. I wouldn't have sent that in, but this one.
You didn't go right away with the dark chocolate or end it with that. You had it kind of in the middle, which is, you know,
Yeah.
closer to the top, but in the, you know.
And what's the last thing I ended with?
No, I was watching you talk. Oh, and that's why I want you to be my employee, or that's why I would make a great employee.
Yeah. But before I transition, what I got into.
Oh, what you did for
Well,
the,
what I would
yes.
do if I got in,
Yeah.
my strategy, what I got, and why that's important, a lot of people leave that out, is that tells somebody, you know, this is somebody that's coming in with a game plan. This is someone that's serious about their career. And then how I went into why I was passionate about recruiting, how it was one of the few jobs out there that have a direct impact on people's lives and how it affects people. I told a story.
Yeah.
So people are like, so maybe I look like a putz. Maybe I said too many ums and stuff, but nobody cares about that. They're like, wow, this is a guy that he's not a recruiter just for Mike, he's a recruiter because he wants to be a recruiter. That's what we want. And that's what, so kind of what Charles mentioned earlier in the evening about, I'm not photogenic, or I need the best video production and stuff. End of the day, hiring managers, so if I'm sending that, if I connected to somebody that's hiring and said, hey, thank you for accepting my invitation on LinkedIn, I'd really love to know more about your company. Here's a quick 22-minute link on me that will kind of give you an idea. Feel free to take a gander at it, if you will. And how likely, now if it's a resume, people may look at it and then they're like, oh, okay, they'll look at the first, they take like a 5-second peek at the top. With a video resume, they're like, oh, they see a link, people are just naturally curious. But they're gonna feel more comfortable opening it because we started that relationship on LinkedIn. So more than likely, when they see a video, they're gonna click it. That's how when I'm trying to find candidates for my day job, I have a video of some of the cool work that we've done on various projects. I put it right up at the top with a little bit of an explanation. And even if people aren't looking for a job, they say, boy, I love the work you're doing. I don't have a need right now, but I'm gonna send this. I've got a friend, or you know what? I wanna hold on to this, and and 3 or 4 months later, hey, do you remember me? You sent me this link. Well, I'm in the market now, and I loved your video. So.
Well, the example that you just gave us right here, your presentation, you prefer ad lib rather than scripted?
Again, it's really, this is the video resume. It's you. There's two things you want to capture. You want to think, okay, what's going to be the best representation of me? Second is, what's going to be attractive to the hiring manager? That's why I say again, it doesn't have to be perfect with all the bells and whistles of all the video. It just has to be what's going to best represent you and your story, and then what that hiring manager, and then crafting it to what that hiring manager is going to be looking for. And that.
So you feel like the content is more important than the production value?
Absolutely.